Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the vlog, and welcome back to another episode here of landscape photography in beautiful Ireland. Now, I'm on a few days of a road trip with my good friends Dermot and Patrick, and we are in Dingle. And I decided to bring them to a place that they hadn't been to before. Number one, because they hadn't seen it. I wanted to show them the place because it's a nice place for photography. But number two, I wanted to test out a new feature that has just been launched for a web app service that I use, which is called Photrus. So it's a weather predictor. And unlike any other weather predictions, you aren't basically doing something to see what's available. It tells you when the conditions that you're looking for are available. So there's some new features I'll talk you through as we go through the day today. Let's go.
Hey, check this out. Wow, hunting to the finest degree.
She's well covered in. Nice.
What happened here?
I don't know. Okay. We had a mishap.
Class.
Welcome to Minard Castle here in the coast along in Dingle. And it's a place, like I said, that I've brought you to before on the channel. You might have seen it before. If you haven't, then welcome to Minard. You'll see a great episode that I did maybe around a year or so ago from this location. And the guys haven't seen it yet, but even the walk over here is a bit sketchy because you're on these huge boulders that are there. Now, I think they are here naturally, or they're here by man. I'm not quite sure, but they act as a tide barrier or a wave barrier for the water as it comes in here quite ferociously. Even though we're not out on the peninsula, we're in a kind of a sheltered area, the waves here can still be quite big. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to test out a new feature with Photrus. So today, the weather forecast was looking as if it was going to be blanket, thick cloud, grey. And I normally use an app like Windy where I go and I want to check what the weather is like in a certain area. But also with Photrus, I get an email anytime that the conditions that I'm looking for are going to have a potential to happen. And some of the new additions now that have been added into that are got to do with seascapes. So you can look in regards to low tide or high tide with any weather phenomenon attached to it. So for the daytime today, I got a notification that from around 2 o'clock onwards, it will be gappy clouds. And as I can see, there are starting to have some gaps behind me here. So I'm hopeful that I get nice fleeting and breaking light. That's the advantage behind something like this. It's like having your own personal assistant that will say, okay, what do you want and where do you want it? It will always keep an eye out for that for you. And then when those particular conditions that you're looking for happen, you'll get an email notification that it's going to happen. So that saves you having to do traveling to an area, going and not getting the conditions you're looking for, or going to an area that's beautiful and you're looking for certain types of conditions, but you don't know if they're going to happen or not. Whereas this will tell you in advance. So I'll get set up anyway here and I'll talk you through what I'm seeing from my first couple of shots, and I hope you enjoy the episode. For my first shot now, I've come right down to the water line, as you can see here, and I'm looking at these rocks that are below, and I really like this green rock that you see here. It's a nice bright color, giving nice bit of pop to the overall scene. And as you can probably see behind here, the prediction might be coming true for the gappy clouds, and we might get a bit of light that shines through. But until then, anyway, I'm going to continue to get a shot. Now, I've decided to go into a portrait orientation because even though the left-hand side here is nice, it's not adding much to the frame. It's giving too much of a gap within the water. And I'm using this green rock below as my anchor. And then all I'm doing effectively is waiting for a wave to come in and to kind of fill the area with water. And because then I can put on my filters, which is my polarizer and my 3-stop, I'm able to get a third of a second exposure time. That's capturing the water, it's capturing the movement of the water, but it's also filling up that gap with a nice texture and scene, as you can see here when that water comes in there overall. So that's the first shot. Now, Dermot is right behind me here, nearly falling over on these treacherous rocks. So hopefully he gets a shot as well now. And yeah, here's the first. Talk to you again in a moment. almost exactly as predicted. You see above me here now, we have gaps in the cloud with light streaming through. Now it's not direct light just yet. Hopefully we get a gap that allows some bit of light ray to come through it anyway. But it's interesting that the prediction that was there, when it otherwise, as you can see around me here, all grey and gloomy, is actually potentially going to come true. So I'll give you a look now at my next shot here with a touch of light, let's just say, and then we'll see what else happens. I move along and get a different composition here, that's for sure, but the light here will make a big difference. Here's the next shot. Now, that gap in the cloud, as you can see here, is directly above the castle structure, and that's causing a challenge because you want to make sure you're not blowing your highlights. And as it stands right now, that is quite bright in the frame, so I risk blowing my highlights. But I've moved along now to a different composition, and again I'm using all of these green rocks because I think they add a real nice pop overall to the image, and I'm waiting for the wave then to come in. I'm doing probably a quarter of a second to a third of a second that's there, and that's giving me enough texture and motion in the water, similar to the first shot anyway that I would have taken. And I'm in a portrait orientation again for the same reasons. I don't want the vastness of blank, let's just say, out here, whereas if we come back in here, there's your castle, and then there's the edge of the headland, and that's pretty much what's in the frame, similar to what we had in the first shot, but now a whole new set of green rocks that are below me there too. Now, Patrick has now just come down here. You might remember Patrick from previous episodes. We also called him Dastardly and Muttley, so you know he has a very unique laugh. If you haven't seen that episode, I'll link to it up here, but it was one of the best episodes of the year so far. But yeah, this tide is going out, but we're just waiting for these waves to come in and lap around these rocks. I'll give you a look at the next shot now, and then we'll see what else we happen with this prediction from Photrus. Will it actually work out? Here's the next shot. Now I've moved on to a different spot here, a different set of rocks actually, and I do like what I've found here in front of me. I've got two large boulders that are covered in algae green, so they're really popping, acting as a nice anchor in the frame. But what I seem to be missing is the right wave. Now, occasionally, like maybe possibly right now, I'm getting one that comes through. I'm shooting here as we're talking, and it fills up most of the gap, but I want it to completely fill the gap. So I have to be conscious that I may or may not get that type of wave. Now, I think I missed it by maybe around 2 or 3 minutes, but what also has happened is that that gap that was predicted came and now has started to close up, and it's actually making it easier to expose because I'm not dealing with any bright highlights or anything like that in the frame. So I think this one will be nice. Settings, I'm at F9, I'm at 0.3 of a second. I've dropped my ISO to 50. As you can see here, I have my polarizer and my 3-stop on as well, and that's allowing me to contain the sky but also get the exposure time that I need to be able to keep that texture and motion in the water. So yeah, here's the next shot now. I'm going to continue on along here now with all three of us so that we're not in each other's shots. Dermot is just here and Patrick is just there, so we're kind of sticking together so that we're not destroying each other's shots, which is always a good thing to do when you're shooting with other people. Be conscious of other people that you're not in their shots. Okay, here's the next one now. for my next shot, I have come right down to the waterline. And with the tide that's going out, if you look behind me here, you can see that the tide is going back out and is revealing all the sand. But I wanted to keep it with these rocks that you see here and keeping that green within the image. So by coming right to where the waterline is right now, I've got a couple of minutes before the waves are no longer going to reach it again. So I decided to go into portrait orientation, kind of fill the frame with as much of these rocks that you see here below me, and then just wait for the water to come in. At settings wise, again, I am now actually at half a second, which is my preferred speed. I'm at F11 and my ISO is at 50, and I still have my 2 filters on as well. So that's the next shot here. I think I like it actually. The rocks aren't as vibrant green here than they were up behind me there, but still nonetheless, I think it still will be a nice shot. Now, as the water will go out, it's going to reveal more of the beach, and I'll be able to have some different types of shots as well, I imagine, there too. But what I might do now, looking at these here, is I might pop on my 10-stop equivalent as well and take a long exposure of this scene too. So yeah, let's see what this one looks like. And then if the long exposure works out, you'll see that after that. Now, as the tide continued to go out, I thought that I could get another shot of a waterfall or a river as it flows into the sea right at the base of the castle here. But it seems that the tide needs a bit further to go out. And I don't want to be able to hang around here for the next 2 hours to do that, because I've got other locations that I'm going to go to. But thank you very much, as always, for joining this episode. I hope you enjoyed the visit to the stunning area here of Minard. And also, don't forget, if you'd like to try Photrus for yourself, there'll actually be a link in the description below. And if you use my code, you can get additional credits as well. It is a phenomenal service. It's something that I would really recommend. Give it a go. Try, punch in the locations anywhere in the world that you're looking for, and you'll get an email notification for the specific conditions that you tick. And on top of that as well, there are so many different options that you've got available to you as well. So your possibilities are endless. I wish you the best of luck to be able to get some shots. Thanks as always for watching. And before I finish, I'd like to thank these amazing people right here for supporting me on Patreon. If you want to join that community, I'd love to have you there. We've got some behind the scenes, early access to videos, and a great community as well that we're starting to grow. So thanks as always for your continued support. Slán go fóill.